What if I told you the Philippines isn't just growing? It's quietly rewriting the economic playbook for Southeast Asia. In just 1 year, it surged past Thailand in gross national income, climbed to second place in the region, and locked in a record $40 billion in overseas remittances. Powered by millions of global workers, a booming IT outsourcing industry, and billions in foreign investment, the country is shaping a new kind of economy, one that's global, resilient, and built for the future. This is the story of how the Philippines is turning momentum into transformation. In the realm of business headlines, the Philippines has pulled off a striking achievement, emerging as Southeast Asia's fastest-growing economy last year, outpacing regional contenders like Vietnam and Malaysia. Three major forces propelled this surge: robust household consumption, a thriving services sector, and rising investment. Together, they help push the country to the top of the growth leaderboard. But the Philippines isn't stopping there. It's already breaking into bigger, more symbolic milestones. In 2024, not only did the country cement its place as Southeast Asia's most dynamic economy, but it also surpassed Thailand in gross national income, GNI, for the first time in history. That move elevated it to the #2 spot in the region, second only to Indonesia. Fresh World Bank figures reveal the shift. The Philippines' GNI hit $518.1 billion, edging past Thailand's $510.2 billion. Vietnam trails close behind at $453.5 billion, followed by Singapore with $451.2 billion, and Malaysia at $414.9 billion. Sitting comfortably at the top, Indonesia boasts a commanding $1.39 trillion. So what's fueling the Philippines' acceleration? And why does its GNI stand noticeably higher than its GDP? A rare pattern among the ASEAN 6? The answer lies in understanding the difference between the two measures. GDP counts what's produced within the nation's borders, the factories, services, and agricultural output generated locally. GNI, on the other hand, adds in the income earned by Filipinos working abroad and subtracts what foreign workers earn within the Philippines. That's where the country's unique advantage kicks in. In 2024, the Philippines' GNI exceeded its GDP by $56.5 billion. This gap is no accident. It reflects a powerful, steady stream of income flowing from millions of Filipinos overseas. The key driver: the immense contribution of overseas Filipino workers, OFWs. In 2024 alone, remittances from Filipinos abroad reached a record $38.3 billion, a 3% increase from the prior year. These inflows accounted for 8.3% of GDP and 7.4% of GNI. No small figure in macroeconomic terms. More than $34.5 billion of that total was sent through formal banking channels, highlighting a shift toward a more trusted, digital, and inclusive financial system. From nurses in New York and care workers in London to seafarers navigating Europe's ports and tech specialists stationed in the Gulf, Filipinos are generating a truly borderless economy, one where national prosperity depends as much on global connections as on domestic industry. This people-powered wealth engine is proving to be resilient, adaptable, and forward-looking. Should current trends hold, the Philippines is positioned not only to maintain its new lead over Thailand, but potentially to challenge Indonesia's dominance in the years ahead. But such a leap will require deliberate moves: investment in world-class education, modern remittance infrastructure, worker protections, and long-term economic reforms. What's unfolding is not a fluke. It's the opening chapters of a transformation, written one paycheck and one wire transfer at a time. In 2024, 3 countries topped the list of remittance sources for the Philippines: the United States, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia, with the U.S. far ahead of the rest. On the global stage, the Philippines ranked as the 4th largest recipient of remittances, bringing in $40 billion, according to the World Bank. Only India, Mexico, and China outpaced it. Pakistan came next at $33 billion. These aren't just cold statistics. They are a testament to the role Filipino workers play in stabilizing their homeland's economy. The cash they send back sustains household spending, supports small enterprises, and injects liquidity into local markets. Several factors explain the remittance boom. Economic rebounds in North America, the Middle East, and parts of Asia have created better-paying jobs for OFWs. A weaker Philippine peso against the US dollar has also made each remitted dollar go further, an incentive for overseas workers to send more money home. While global slowdowns or geopolitical crises could disrupt these flows, experts expect remittances to keep climbing through 2025, assuming international conditions remain favorable. This matters because household consumption is the Philippines' primary growth engine. Unlike export-heavy economies, the Philippines derives most of its strength from the spending power of its citizens. The sector breakdown is telling. As of early 2025, services account for 62.2% of economic output, industry for 29.5%, and agriculture, fishing, and forestry combined for just 8.3%. Two pillars dominate this service-led model: the IT and business process outsourcing, IT-BPO sector, and the remittances sent by millions of Filipinos abroad. Together, they represent nearly 20% of the nation's GDP. And 2025 has already marked another milestone. The IT-BPO industry now employs 2 million people and generates $40 billion in revenue annually. That gives the Philippines a commanding 10% share of the global IT-BPO market, a significant presence in a trillion-dollar industry. Pair that with projected personal remittances hitting $40 billion this year, and you have a dual growth engine with extraordinary staying power. Behind these figures are 11 million Filipinos living in nearly every corner of the globe, over 10% of the national population, forming one of the world's largest and most widely dispersed diasporas. From the United States and Canada to Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Japan, these communities form a vast network of income flows that fuel everything from grocery budgets to business startups back home. Combined with the IT-BPO boom, they're setting up the Philippines for a decade of sustained, inclusive growth. Economists foresee gains driven by digital innovation, skilled labor, and a steady connection to global markets. This isn't a country playing catch-up anymore. It's beginning to set the pace. The results are tangible. Per capita GDP is climbing, bringing better access to healthcare, improved education, and higher living standards. The divide between subsistence living and middle-class prosperity is narrowing, and this shift is anchored by three forces: the global reach of Filipino labor, the expanding IT-BPO sector, and a tourism industry bouncing back stronger than ever. International partnerships are amplifying this momentum. The United States is channeling billions into strategic sectors, from semiconductors to clean energy. In the South China Sea's exclusive economic zone, Philippine companies are teaming up with U.S. partners to explore potential oil and gas reserves, a move that could strengthen energy independence. A standout development is Seattle-based ultra-safe nuclear corporation's collaboration with the Philippines to build small modular nuclear reactors, technology that could reshape the country's energy future. With strong fundamentals, reform-minded policies, and deepening global ties, the Philippines is emerging as one of Asia's most attractive investment hubs. Forecasts place it as the world's 23rd largest economy by 2039, with only 3 Southeast Asian countries making that elite list. Of course, challenges remain, from geopolitical risks to domestic governance, but the demographic and economic foundations are strong. A young, ambitious population, a prime location at the heart of Asia-Pacific trade routes, and industries that are adaptable to future trends. Looking across the region, 3 Southeast Asian nations are clearly on the rise. Indonesia at 10th in the global economy, the Philippines at 23rd, and Vietnam at 25th. Among them, the Philippines stands out for its steady, resilient growth, even amid global uncertainty. According to a review of nearly 200 economies, this rise is no accident. It's the result of deliberate strategy, harnessing overseas income, stoking domestic demand, and leveraging a workforce ready to compete globally. By 2039, the Philippines is projected to leap from 33rd place in 2024 to 23rd, overtaking both Thailand and Singapore in global rankings. The country is also on track to cross the $1 trillion mark in nominal GDP by 2033, a symbolic and practical milestone that will place it firmly in the company of Asia's major economies. The income trajectory is just as impressive. In 2000, the average Filipino earned less than $1,000 annually. By 2022, that figure had climbed to $3,500. By 2030, it's expected to top $6,000, reflecting the rise of a consumer-driven middle class with growing purchasing power. Urban households benefiting from higher incomes are spending more on housing, healthcare, technology, and leisure. This demand fuels job creation, which in turn feeds further growth. A virtuous cycle that shows no signs of slowing. All of this points to one conclusion. The Philippines is not just expanding, it's evolving into a different kind of economy, one with global reach, domestic resilience, and a rapidly improving quality of life. By 2033, joining the ranks of Asia-Pacific's $1 trillion economies will place it alongside China, Japan, India, South Korea, Australia, Taiwan, and Indonesia. Looking further ahead, capital economics projects that by 2050, the Philippines could be the world's 18th largest economy, with a nominal GDP of $4.86 trillion and per capita income of roughly $33,650. Reaching that point will require addressing one of its biggest bottlenecks: infrastructure. Roads, railways, subways, power grids. These are the arteries of sustained growth. Plans are already in motion. The next 5 to 10 years are set to attract $100 billion in fresh investments, much of it from the United States and Japan. Major projects like the $25 billion Metro Manila Subway and North-South Commuter Railway are being heavily backed by Japan, which is financing over 80% of the costs. The U.S., meanwhile, is deepening its footprint in semiconductors and outsourcing, two sectors where the Philippines already enjoys strong momentum. Shifting geopolitics are adding to the opportunity. As companies look to diversify away from China, the Philippines' strategic location and investor-friendly reforms are drawing attention. This could translate into long-term investments, stronger alliances, and greater economic resilience. All signs point to the same conclusion. The Philippines is stepping out of the shadows of larger markets and claiming a role as a serious economic contender. With a young, growing population, prime geographic position, and strengthening global partnerships, the nation is poised to become a driving force in Southeast Asia's future, and perhaps the broader Asia-Pacific region. This is no longer just a growth story, it's the unfolding of a transformation, one whose final chapters are still being written.